Documenting the American South. Documenting the American South, also known as DocSouth, is a digital publishing initiative that provides internet access to texts, images, and audio files related to Southern history, literature, and culture of the United States. Currently, DocSouth includes 16 thematic collections of books, diaries, posters, artifacts, letters, and history, interviews, and songs. The University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill Library sponsors Documenting the American South, and the texts and materials come primarily from its Southern holdings. The University of North Carolina is committed to a long-term availability of these collections and their online records. An editorial board guides development of this digital library. DocSouth includes 16 thematic collections of primary sources, the study of Southern history, literature, and culture. They are arranged in alphabetical order, and some materials are cross-referenced in multiple collections. Among the collections are: number 1, the Church in the Southern Black Community. This collection traces the way Southern African Americans adopted and transformed Protestant Christianity into the central institution of community life. It collects autobiographies, biographies, church documents, sermons, histories, encyclopedias, and other published materials. Coverage begins with white churches, conversion efforts, especially in the post-revolutionary period, and depicts the tensions and contradictions between the egalitarian potential of evangelical Christianity and the relatives of slavery. This collection focuses through slave narratives and observation narratives and observations by other African American authors on how the black community adopted evangelical Christianity, making it a metaphor for freedom, community, and personal survival. Number 2, the Civil War Day by Day. This collection draws on the vast holdings of the Louis Round Wilson Special Collection Library's Civil War documents. The concept of the project was a simple one. Relevant documents associated with each day of the conflict were featured on the project's blog, where they can now be discovered by keyword search or browse actions. Number 3, the Colonial and State Records of North Carolina. This collection includes documents and materials from throughout the country and from several European repositories, covering from several European repositories to the earliest days of North Carolina as settlement by Europeans through the ratification of the United States Constitution. This collection consists of 26 volumes of historical materials appearing between 1886 and 1907, with a 4-volume master index marked a significant achievement for the state's historians and provided a benefit to the entire state of North Carolina. The turmoil and uncertainty of the proprietary years, the attempts at consolidating and improving life under royal stewardship, and the emergence of an independent state were documented here through individual, governmental, and organizational records. These documents were handwritten original that are often difficult for non-experts to read, and some of the originals have disappeared since publication. Number 4, Commemorative Landscapes of North Carolina. This collection documents the state's history through a spatially based presentation of commemorative documents, shrines, and public art. It enables users to visualize and analyze the historical memory of the state of North Carolina by viewing the commemorative sites on modern and historic maps. Number 5, Driving Through Time, the Digital Blue Ridge Parkway in North Carolina. This collection features historic maps, photographs, postcards, government documents, oral history interviews, and newspaper clippings that document the development and impact of the Blue Ridge Parkway, the most visited site in the national park system. The number 6 collection is called the First Century of the First State University, and this collection presents hundreds of primary documents on the creation and development of the University of North Carolina from 1776 to 1875. Scholarly essays and annotations about people and places provide rich historical and contextual information. The manuscripts, printed materials, and images included in this collection have been selected to illuminate several topics: the circumstances that created the university, the campus and its buildings, and the situation of the university during the upheavals of the Civil War and Reconstruction. Number 7. First-person narratives of the American South. They offer many Southerners' perspectives on their lives by presenting letters, memoirs, autobiographies, and other writings by slaves, laborers, women, aristocrats, soldiers, and officers. The majority of materials in this collection are written by those Southerners whose voices were less prominent in their time, including African Americans, women enlisted men, and Native Americans. Number 8. The Hames-Lawrence Dusenberry Journal, 1841 to 1842. It chronicles Dusenberry's senior year at the University of North Carolina. Additional manuscripts, images, music, and essays extend the journal by documenting Dusenberry's family and subsequent medical education, as well as the daily life and literacy and musical tastes of his 19th century classmates. The number 9 is the Library of Southern Literature, and this collection includes the most important Southern literacy works from the colonial period to the beginning of the 20th century. This collection presents the varied and rich foundation of Southern writings. This collection includes a wide range of literary works of the American South, published before 1924. This collection was originally based on Dr. Robert Payne's bibliography of 100 most important Southern literary works, and continues to expand under the guidance of scholarly advisors Dr. Joseph Flora and Dr. William Leake Andrews. The collection begins with some of the earliest texts about America, written by British discoverers, that set the foundations for American letters and traces the development of Southern literature through to the beginning of the 20th century. The number 10 is the North American Slave Narratives. This collection documents the individual and collective story of African American struggle for freedom and human rights in the 18th century, 19th century, and also 20th century. North American slave narratives include all the existing autobiographical narratives of self-emancipated and former biased and enslaved people published as broadsides, pamphlets, or books in English up to 1920. Also included are many of the biographies of self-emancipated and formerly enslaved people and some significant fictionalized first-person accounts of enslaved men published in English before 1920. The number 11 is the North Carolina Experience, which includes representative histories, personal narratives, descriptive accounts, institutional reports, fiction, and other published writings to help users gain greater insight into the diverse social, economic, religious, and political history of North Carolina. The North Carolina Helps is the collection number 12 of this library, and it presents a historic maps from 3 of the state's largest maps collection: the North Carolina State Archives, the North Carolina Collection at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and the Outer Banks History Center. The maps range in date from the late 1800s and 2000s, and includes at least one map for each of North Carolina's 100 counties. North Carolina Maps is a comprehensive online collection of historic maps of the Tar Heel State, featuring maps from 3 of the state's larger maps collection. the State Archives of North Carolina, and the North Carolina Collection at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. North Carolina maps contain more than 3,000 maps. In the number 13, we find the North Carolinians and the Great War, which examines how World War I shaped the lives of different North Carolinians on the battlefield and on the home front. Propaganda posters are related documents, show the way the state and federal governments responded to wartime demands. The collection focuses on the years of American involvement in the war between 1917 and 1919, but it also examines the legacies of the war in the 1920s. The Oral Stories of the American South is number 14 and is a collection of 500 oral history interviews with a southern focus on a variety of topics, including civil rights, politics, and women's issues. Interviews can be read in the text transcript form, listened to with a media player, or both simultaneously. Oral Histories of the American South is a 3-year project to select, digitalize, and make available 500 oral history program. These 500 are being selected from a collection of over 4,000 interviews housed at the Southern Historical Collection that cover a range of fascinating topics. The project is made possible by a grant from the Institute of Museum and Library Services. In number 15, we have the Southern Homefront 1861 to 1865, and it presents materials related to Southern life during the Civil War and the challenge of creating a nation-state-wide war. This collection includes government documents, personal diaries, religious pamphlets, and many other materials. This collection presents documents in particular government and civilian publications and demonstrate the Confederate States of America's unsuccessful attempt to create a viable nation-state. The collection also includes over 400 Civil War-era maps. Thomas Watson papers are included in the 16th collection of this library, and they present the correspondence, books, manuscripts, speeches, publications, scrapbooks, diaries, photographs, and photograph albums of Thomas Wilson, 1856 to 1922, a lawyer, populist, politician, popular author, and influential publisher. The collection contains more than 12,300 items comprised of more than 45,000 individual images. Towards the end, number 17 of this collection is called True and Candid Compositions, the lives and writings of antebellum students at the University of North Carolina, and it presents 121 edited and transcribed primary documents from 1795 to 1868. Most of these documents were written by students and tell the story of the University of North Carolina from their own perspective. Thanks for watching.